and welcome to Extra Time. I'm Gary James with guests from the world of boxing, Martin Gethin, Luke Paddock, and along with boxing promoter Dan Mole, who's joining us, representing the world of badminton, we have James Lauder. Welcome all. Thanks for joining us. Hiya, hope you're all well. Before we talk to Luke and Martin about being pro boxers, Dan, let me ask you as a promoter. There's been a massive resurgence, it seems, over the last, 12 months? Certainly in the Midlands with boxing. Why do you think that is? Why is it happening?
Well, working in PR with a number of promoters, it's because they're really busy, Gary. They're getting their boxers out there month in, month out. You've got the likes of Errol Johnson working really well in the Black Country, PJ Rowson working out of Wolverhampton, Tommy Owens in Birmingham. There's a number of core promoters in the area who are pushing their fighters out and about into the Midlands and further. You look at Martin Gethin. This weekend got a massive fight up in Hull, live on Sky Sports. Luke Paddock, as I'm sure we'll get on to, has been fighting in Cannock, has got a belt to his name already after only 10 professional fights. So the scene is really, really strong at the moment, and long may it continue.
Okay, let's talk to the lads. So Luke, let's have a look at you in action before we have a chat. So during that fight, that was last Saturday, I believe in that. Obviously you won, which is brilliant. Did you know during the fight, was there any point where you thought, I've got this, I'm going to win this?
Yeah, he's a late replacement, but he was a tough kid.
Yeah.
All throughout the fight, I thought I was comfortable. He gave me a few problems. I think it was in the fourth, maybe the fifth. I just got complacent, really, but picked up my concentration and picked up the win.
Okay. And regarding where you go from now, because you've had, I have to read my notes from this because the brain's going at my age. You've had, 10 fights now?
Yeah.
You've won them all, which is fantastic, and one knockout.
That's it, yeah.
So where's next? When's your next bout?
Looking to be on a Box Nation show at the end of May or beginning of June. So we're looking to defend the belt. So just concentrating on that one, really.
Okay. And we'll talk more a little bit later about the training and diet and that sort of thing when we talk to Martin. But Martin, you've got a big fight, as Dan said, coming up this weekend. So just ahead of that, let's have a look at you doing the pads. Is that what we call it? Doing the pads. Let's have a look at that right now. A little bit strenuous. Now, when you do that, pads is different to sparring, isn't it?
Yeah, completely different.
Right. Now, when you do the pads, is it the same ahead of every fight? Is it the same, or do you concentrate on different styles, different punches? Is the guy on the pads sort of trying to replicate potentially your opponent in the next fight, or? Yeah,
you work on different combinations that will work for that opponent. Obviously to win that fight. So you keep going over different combinations, different shots, different angles, that'll work in the fight.
And the fight coming up for you at the weekend is against
Tommy Coyle.
It's a big fight actually for both you guys, isn't it?
Yeah. He's just come off a big win against Katsidis, which he's a really experienced fighter. He was as well. He beat him, so he's come on really well. He's up the top. He's buzzing, sort of thing. I've just come off a win. I've just got a win. So I want to get myself back up to big level fights. And this is he's the first. He's the one I've got to get up against. He's the one who's offered me the fight.
Okay, and when you win this one at the weekend, what would that mean to you?
It meant a lot, it means I'm back at the top level again, because like I say, he's at the top. So if I beat him, I'm up
So
there.
he jumps you way up there.
Last year, Martin Ford, Derry Matthews and Terry Flanagan, both very, very good domestic fighters. Unfortunately, both of them went to Derry's backyard, and to be honest, I thought we nicked it on the night, didn't get the decision. Terry, different type of fight. I know you struggled with your ear on the night, didn't you, Martin? And that didn't go our way. This is a fight where really, Crossroads is probably a little bit strong, but after those 2 defeats, when you go up against somebody who's elite level British, which Tommy Coyle is, with respect a little bit overhyped possibly, got a great team around him who have built him up. He's the Prince of Hull, hoping to fight Luke Campbell in a massive Hull show, and we're going to go up there and spoil the party. That's the aim, to get Martin back in amongst it at British level. Former British lightweight champion, takes an awful lot to get to that, stepping up to light welter, and we believe that Martin can be a 2-weight British champion, which from a local lad from Worsley is phenomenal.
And just coming on to, you mentioned about the weights and height, so you're Martin about what, 5'6", 5'7"?
5'8".
5'8".
5'8",
Okay.
yeah.
What are you, 5'9", 5'10"?
5'9", 5'10".
Oh, I've got one error, so it's not bad, is it? Yeah, right. But the guys, you're again at the same weight. Are you all more or less similar heights? Because sometimes you see like taller boxers the same weight as maybe fighting somebody that's 3 or 4 inches shorter. Or do you tend to find you guys are all a similar height?
No, they're similar. Yeah, similar. You get the odd 1 or 2 that can actually be big at that weight.
Yeah.
You can make a low weight and be really big and strong as you.
You look at Luke Campbell, who's a lightweight, who looks massive for that weight.
Yeah,
He's
he's
a beast
tall,
of a man.
Dangly.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I just, James, bring you in on this. Obviously, you're the badminton pro,
Yep.
and we'll talk to you a little bit later on. But boxing, because you're a sportsman, a lot of sports people like other sports. Is it something you've ever done, or are you into boxing? Do you watch it? Do you like it?
I love watching it on TV. I've never really done any sort of boxing myself. Obviously, had the pads out before and done a little bit of kind of CV, like cardiovascular work. But yeah, I think everyone was speaking a bit earlier, and everyone's talking about the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight. You know, that's going to be a great fight. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We'll come back to we'll talk badminton a little bit later on in the show. We've got, as you can see, we've got this belt in front of us here. Tell us about that, Luke.
I won that back in December the 6th. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was quality night. But good atmosphere. Beat Josh McLaren, top lad, good fighter. And just looking to defend that at the end of May or June now. But it's another quality night in Burslem in Stoke. And just hopefully I can remain as quickly and much as possible I can with that belt. So.
Okay, and that belt means you're the what champion? The
West Midlands, Midlands area. So
that's a bona fide British Boxing Board of Control belt. So that's the regionalised Midlands light welterweight champion is Luke. You look at that night in Burslem. To be fair, you had Josh McLaren undefeated, Luke Paddock undefeated. Fair play to promoter Errol Johnson for getting those two together in a ring. Luke's gone into Josh's backyard. Walsall lad going up to Stoke. You can imagine the atmosphere in the place was electric, wasn't it? And
it's been in the Lions Den, you know, so that spurred me on as well. But both what you don't see a lot in boxing these days, 2 undefeated, and I took his O off him and took the belt. So it was a good night, to remember.
Well done you, and I'd love to see the trousers loops that goes through.
might even fit me that one.
Imagine walking through the airport thing, isn't it? It all goes off. That's great. No, congratulations. What titles do you hold, Martin? Do you still have one? I know you've had a few over the years.
I had the IBF, but I vacated that and went for the World Eliminator. That would have been against Vasquez. But the kid I boxed, he was really good kid. He was he's strong and that. But you know, going into from like winning the British title and then getting to a world level, it was totally different. You know, this kid had just boxed for the world title. You know, so it's I'm just looking forward to getting on to winning another British title.
Yeah. And training wise, and which gym or which camp do you guys come out of, Martin?
I'm a boxing Wednesbury, but I have got my own boxing gym in Aldridge, Wildstar boxing gym. So.
Oh well, next time you come on the show, we'll ask you more about that and you know the lads that you've got going in there, and even the girls these days maybe coming in there into boxing. How about yourself, Luke?
Priory Park in Dudley under Paul Goff and Steve Hawthorne. Good little setup. They've done a really good job with me so far. Yeah. And hopefully just let's carry it on.
Okay. And with boxing, with the weights that you are now, moving on in your careers, will you slowly move up a weight, or will you always sort of try and stay at the same weights?
I'd like to stay the same way because it suits me. I'm 23 now, and I've been the same weight since the age of 16. So I'm really solid light welterweight, which is 10 stone. If I had to move up in weight, I'd have to put a bit more mass on, a bit more solidness. So, but for the time being, I'm just looking to just stay at light welter.
Yeah, and yourself?
Me, I've been lightweight since I was 15, 16 as well. I'm 31 now, so you know I've been at that as long as I've won a few belts today. I've been at a high level, so
brilliant. Well, we're going to talk more after the break. We're off to suck on a few oranges. It's extra time now. It's not extra time. It is extra time. It's half time on extra time. Welcome back. We're in conversation with Dan Mole, Martin Gethin, Luke Paddock and James Lauder. Dan, as well as being a boxing promoter, you wear another hat.
Yes.
And you are the club secretary for Walsall Town Football Club.
Yeah. Yes, yeah. Very busy man.
Yeah, you are.
At the moment, the Saddlers, I've worked at the football club 15 years, man and boy.
Yeah.
At the moment, under Dean Smith's guidance, it's probably the best time during that period. And to be at Wembley in the coming weeks, first time in 127 years, is just a phenomenal achievement. And as you know, the town's absolutely buzzing at the moment.
Absolutely, and it was great. Dan took the time out of what is no doubt an absolutely manic schedule at the moment. Came and had a chat with us yesterday, and he brought his son along, actually, Jamie, as well as at the academy. Yeah. But you could see, the excitement, the apprehension. I asked him, did he know what the team was? He said, no, it's all on merit, so he doesn't know yet. But yeah, going to Wembley, I mean, there really is a massive buzz around the place. What will it mean to Walsall, to the football club, to the town, if they win it?
Everything. To get there is a wonderful achievement. We were one of 4 clubs to have not played at Wembley in the Football League. Now there's only 3. It's our first time there, the home of football. We all know what Wembley means to anyone who supports football. And the fact that we're there, we finally got there under Dean at this moment in time, it's just amazing. And ticket sales, we had an initial allocation of 20,000. Hoped that we get those sold, got them sold, crept up to 25, 27. And now to sit here thinking that we may do 30,000 tickets down at Wembley against Bristol City is just unbelievable. It's a wonderful time to be associated with a wonderful football club.
And I know from talking around, and I know we've had the conversation, is there's lots of fans from other Midlands clubs that are buying tickets to go down and support Walsall because they're from the Midlands.
Yeah, and we're everyone's second team, Gary.
Yeah.
We are everyone's second team. Everyone looks out for us, and there'll be a lot of Villa, Wolves, Blues, Albion supporters who want a day out at Wembley, and they'll come down and they'll support us, and the more the merrier. We want to take as many fans as we can down there. We've got 2 fans sitting either side of me who will be there, so it means an awful lot to the town. Yeah.
So you guys, Martin and Luke, you're both going down, and did you ever play football before you came boxers? Were you into football?
I played football a little bit. Believe it or not, I wanted to take on football, but my dad forced me. I won't say forced me, but he's persuaded me to go boxing because he knows how hard it is in the football industry. But I was a lot better boxer anyway.
With that face, boxing's probably.
I see. Yeah, well, exactly. I've got nothing to lose anyway.
So was your dad or someone else in the family big into boxing then? Or?
Not really. Just ever since the first day, my dad took me into the gym. I fell in love just smacking people up, so it's the way it is.
A bit like football, isn't it? Doesn't happen in badminton much, I bet.
No, not really. Not this day and age, anyway.
And Martin, you were a footballer before you got into the world of boxing?
I've done both, football and boxing. Yeah, I played for the school, played for Brownells. But obviously, you got to pick. When you get to a certain point, you got to pick one thing because you can't do both training things at the same time. So I took on boxing, stuck to boxing. Yeah. All my brothers had done it. There was me. I'm the youngest one. There's Steve, Darren. Rob did it a bit like, but so it's always been in the family line.
And training wise, I mentioned it before the break. We didn't really talk about it because I wanted to save it to now. I know some boxers that they get to train with some of the football clubs. So what part would that be? Because obviously you can't kick the ball around. Because if you break something or pull something, you can't box. So do you do anything like that with maybe Walsall and the other clubs, or do you keep it purely in the gym and on the road? And
just boxing really, but it's good to come out of boxing and do some other sports because you strengthen other things up. So like if you're having a bit of a kick around with regardless if it's Warsaw or just with some footballers, you're going to strengthen your legs up and different muscles. But it's good to go into different sports and take little things out and get fit for your actual sport. So.
And I think boxing, as I say, there's a resurgence with it. And just to finish on it, really, I think there's a lot of young lads now that are going into the gyms. They've got a bit of a chip on their shoulders, maybe. They think they're Jack the Lad. They think, hey, I'll sort this lot out. And they walk in a bit rough. But after you lads have sorted them out, they walk out gentlemen a few years later, don't they?
The discipline, though, of the in the boxing world is phenomenal, and the welcome that you get. You'll have to come down, Gary. Come down to, as I say, Wednesday Boxing Academy, Priory Park. The welcome that you get from these people is unbelievable, and to a man, they just take you on board, and you're part of a team. And as I say, from my point of view, doing the PR for both of these guys, it's just an honour, really, because they're both such gentlemen, and that goes for a lot of people in the boxing world.
Yeah, it's good. Let's go from one B, boxing, to the other B, to badminton. James, bit about yourself. You're a professional badminton player.
Yeah, and coach at the university as well,
Okay.
with the West Midlands Performance Centre. So that's what my kind of main job is, but I still try and play as many tournaments as possible around Europe, as well as the English national tournaments as well. So.
Okay, and so that's obviously that's what you do for a living, as you
Yeah.
say. And that. Before we chat further, let's have a quick look, because this week in Birmingham at the Barclaycard Arena, which was the NIA Arena, we've got the Yonex All England Open Championships.
Yep.
I think they're here, and it's a great event. It's a very prestigious event.
Yeah, massive.
And let's have a quick look at just a little bit from last year's.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that was just a short bit from last year's Yonex Championships at the Barclaycard Arena. We said it's a prestigious event. It's one of the biggest that's been going for a long time in the world of badminton.
Yep.
What does it mean, as you as a player and a coach from the University of Birmingham, that event comes here every year?
Yeah, it's really special. Not often do you get a big badminton tournament that is in anywhere but in London. You know, the Olympics obviously in 2012, it was at the Copper Box. Back a long time ago, the All England used to be down in Wembley. So it's nice to have something that's a bit different in the Midlands. You get thousands of people coming over from different countries to watch it, which is quite shocking when you think about. Actually, you think, oh, maybe a lot of people in the Midlands will come and watch, but it's really impressive. You get a lot of Danes that come over and support their badminton players. A lot of Asian families come and watch. It's a great event.
It's one of those sports, and I used to play it at school. I used to love it.
Yeah.
And then I think a lot of people, probably you guys did it when you were kids as well. You know, mum and dad buy you a couple of rackets and a shuttlecock, and you stick it up in the garden and you backwards and forwards. But some people might think of it as a minority sport, but it's not, is it? It's a massive sport.
Yeah, it's probably the most one of the most played sports in the world because of Asia. I mean, there's 1 billion people in China and they pretty much all play it. So it's their national sport. It is like our football. Yeah. Over there, Lin Dan to them is our David Beckham, Wayne Rooney. It is massive. On our magazines, David Beckham is on the front. Over there, Lin Dan, who is probably the number 1 seed this week. I don't think he's actually the number 1 seed. He's because he's come back from retirement, but he is the main guy that everyone want to beat. So, yeah, it's going to be it'll be a good event again, and I'd recommend everyone to go and watch it if they can. I
think there are still tickets available.
Yeah, tickets
available. And that's again once it's at the Barclaycard now Arena. What's the NIA here in Birmingham? But more importantly, probably from your point of view, Birmingham University, we've got the National Badminton League. Tell me about that.
Yeah, it's new league this year. It's live on Sky Sports. Every franchise team, there's 6 franchise teams around England. Every team has 1 game home and away that's live on Sky Sports. We had our game live on Sky, which was in December at the Great Hall at the University of Birmingham. We've got a game coming up on the 23rd of March, which is against Loughborough Sport, so big rivals. It's 7:30 start, and it's going to be a big event, hopefully. That's at the Barclaycard Arena as well.
And I know there are tickets for that. And if you'd like to get tickets, please go online. I've got the address here. It's all the w's.sport.birmingham.ac.uk/NBL. And there are tickets still available. And the date again, it was the 22nd of March?
23rd of March.
23rd
Monday
of
the 23rd, yeah.
Okay, 22nd of March is the Wembley final.
Yes.
It's a busy weekend.
Yeah,
It's
very busy.
It's absolutely brilliant. And you yourself, will you ever go and be completely full-time as a pro and only living that way, or will you still have to coach?
Yeah, I think last year I kind of went completely full-time, did a very minimal amount of coaching, whereas this year I've kind of taken a little bit of a back seat, doing a bit more coaching now because it's really hard to get down to Milton Keynes where the National Badminton setup is at. So for me, it may be more into the coaching side, but there's definitely youngsters out there that want to go make it into the GB programme. Yeah,
okay. Well, again, hopefully you'll come back on the show, maybe after the 23rd, and we'll talk more. And that's it for now, guys. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming in. Today's guests then, Martin Gethin, Luke Paddock, Dan Mole and James Lauder. That's it. It's full time on Extra Time. I'm back with you tomorrow. See you soon. And don't forget, you can email any sports we're not talking about or any guests you'd like to suggest. And then please email extratime@bigcentre.tv.